Yesterday, I told the story about my client who decided that she wanted to use a charger when she never wanted to use chargers to start with. And I got this question, charger question mark. And I forget not everybody knows what chargers are. So, if you have been to a fancy dinner or anything like that, you have seen a charger. The way I explain chargers to my clients is that a charger is just a big fancy plate that you put your plates on top of. It's kind of like a think of like a placemat, except it's a plate. And the charger stays on the table. So if you have been to a wedding or a fancy dinner, you've probably seen a charger looks like this, and it's usually set with the charger and then a plate and then maybe a bowl or something on top. This is my favorite way to do this. So you'll see I actually will use a charger and then a plate, and then I do some kind of napkin and maybe a menu or a place card or something on there, and that's the way to sort of elevate your table design. But the charger is the plate that you sit the plate on. And if you are having a multi course meal, what happens is they will remove the plate from the table when they serve a different course. So you will be served a salad course, like your first course, and then that goes on top of your charger, and then they remove the salad course and bring while you're waiting, that's empty. But what stays on the table is the charger. The charger stays there. And then you bring the next course in and you have your main course and that is there and it stays until you finish and then they remove it. The charger stays again. And then you bring, a dessert course, it stays. And then after your final course, then they remove the charger as well. And so it's a complete clean slate of the table. So the charger is a plate that stays that you put all your plates and things on top. If you do have a second course that is like if you do a salad course and a soup course, again, still there. Soup goes on top of the charger and it stays. So it's a way to kind of keep that design element throughout the meal and that it's always there because otherwise you end up with an empty spot and there's nothing there. Also, for people who are doing things like buffets, your charger stays on the table because if you're doing a buffet and you don't include a charger on your table, there's typically not a plate on the table. So you have kind of an empty spot. It's kind of a placeholder. And we can often put a napkin or some cute napkin fold or a menu or something in that place. But often, if people have a buffet, there's nothing in that spot because they put the plates on the buffet. But if you have a charger, now your design element on your table remains because you get to have that charger that stays there. And then they grab the plate from the buffet and it goes on top of the charger. So that's a way to do this. So what chargers are, honestly, they're just fancy plates that you put a plate on top of that stays throughout your meal until you're done. But it is not necessary, but it is a nice way to elevate your table design if you are designing yourself. It's a nice way to do that. And I'm renting chargers. I rent them from our favorite rental company. They run between $2 and $5 a plate or charger to rent them, but you can purchase them. And they do make a variety of types of chargers. And I have done this even with disposables for half couples that are like, we're keeping it relatively low budget. We want everything to be disposables. We don't want to have anything to like clean or return at the end of the night. I have done a disposable charger with a disposable plate on top. So you can still have the same element, even if you're doing disposables and you're not renting like, plates or glassware, things like that. Even if you're doing all disposables, you can still do a disposable charger. So there you go. That's what a charger is.